Yo, so I'm actually really stoked for today's video topic because I love talking about dating. Not saying I'm a dating coach, but I do love talking about dating in general with people as well as my friends. Now, I do want to say a lot of my experiences with dating crazy women or dating women that were very unstable or had a lot of red flags really came from my first girlfriend. I was a little bit of a late bloomer. My first girlfriend, I had my first girlfriend around, I think I was 24 or 25. And that relationship didn't last long, but let me tell you, it really felt like a boot camp of relationships because like I went through so much emotional turmoil with her. So I just want to thank her for giving me the topic for this video because although in this case I'm addressing my ex-girlfriend, although I no longer hate you or resent you and I actually forgive you for everything, it still is really fun to talk about the lessons I learned from our relationship because man, there was a lot and it was a hell of a ride. One of the big red flags I've found when dating a type of girl is if she is mean to random people. So for example, let's say you're going out on a date and the waiter or waitress like messes something up or is a little bit slower than usual. If this person is really rude to someone they've never really met, that's really a red flag because if you're already seeing that behavior up front and they're mean to random people, chances are she's just a nasty person in general. Another red flag is if this girl lacks female friends. I always run for the hills when someone says like, oh, you know, I just don't get along with women. They're always so catty and everything. Like that is true. Sometimes women can be very catty and very like, you know, they can basically be emotional terrorists to each other. But if a girl doesn't have a single girlfriend, that means she's a human being where even all the other women hate her because she's doing shitty things. So I'd really, really be concerned if the girl, you know, only has guy friends. I got my phone right here and it almost fell off. If she only has guy friends and she has like no girlfriends, and you know how the saying goes, a shoulder to cry on becomes a dick to ride on. So that's another reason to be really careful if a girl has no girlfriends and only has guy friends. Another thing that is really a red flag is if a girl gossips a lot and talks a lot of shit. I just find this behavior to be very nasty in general. It means that if she doesn't like someone or someone annoys her, whether it's justified or not, she's going to talk shit. And to me, that shows very volatile, very nasty behavior and also means I can't trust a person because if I know she's going to be talking shit about everyone, she is probably going to be talking shit about me to other people when, let's say, we're dating and she's angry at me. And I don't want someone going around just like throwing shit on my name. So this is one of the videos where I probably cuss a little bit more, but if she's gossiping a lot and she is talking down on people or talking bad about people, chances are she's going to talk bad about you. And someone that is really careless with their words, that's not someone I would want to date. Another red flag is if a woman has daddy issues, meaning she does not have a good relationship with her dad, or she hates her dad, and or they have a complicated but bad relationship. Now, this is a broad spectrum, of course. It's a case-by-case basis, but I found that the reason why people talk about daddy issues or even mommy issues if it's a girl dating a guy is because the way someone relates to their opposite sex parent oftentimes will show up in their personal romantic relationships. This is actually really, really true. I found from my experiences dating. So the way she treats and talks about her dad, high chance that's going to carry over to how she talks about you and treats you. Another big red flag I see is if a girl's posting on her social media stuff about how men ain't shit and how men are like suck at this and that, basically where she casts men as being like, you know, stupid, irresponsible, always at fault for whatever is caused in a relationship. Dude, if a girl like posts this quote, that I hate that quote from Marilyn Monroe about like, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Like usually if a girl is posting quotes like that, like a left and right in her stories, her social media posts, that means she does not have a good relationship with her father, most likely, but also means she does not have good experiences and good relationships with men in general. So just be aware of that because if you do date a girl like that, you're probably not going to really enjoy it. A really big red flag is when a woman is an attention whore. I think we're all aware of women like this. They're always posting those thirst traps on Instagram and different social media posts. And if a woman constantly craves attention, that's not a good sign. I've found from my experiences for a girl that really craves attention, and if she doesn't get it from you, she's going to go look elsewhere outside of the relationship or your dating experience for that attention. The big issue behind this for someone seeking attention is that It's low self-esteem. It means someone can't self-validate themselves, they can't self-regulate, and they can't self-soothe. You're not supposed to be catering to someone's emotional wounds. So someone, has low self-esteem and seeks a lot of attention, if you're constantly trying to give them attention, you're actually only reinforcing their trauma and their low self-esteem because they're forever reliant on the external validation to feel good about themselves. And that's really not a healthy place to be in. Another big red flag is if she has an entitled attitude. And there was one of my exes where, honestly, every time something happened in a relationship, she would get angry at me for a really stupid reason. An example is when I went to my parents' home one weekend and I took a 2-hour nap. I didn't text her, but she was very cold the next few days. And what's wrong? So eventually I was like, okay, really tell me what's wrong, right? And it came out that she thought I was cheating on her. And I was just like, okay, so you're angry at me because I didn't respond to you for 2 hours and you thought I was cheating on you. That's not it's kind of an entitled attitude because it's always my fault. I wasn't lining up to how she thought a guy should be in a relationship. Turns out she was actually the one that was cheating on me, at the very least with her ex emotionally. I don't know if they did anything physically to this day. It's really ironic, but the point being is if she always thinks it's the guy's responsibility to read her mind, to make her happy and all this stuff, and it's never her fault, then that's a huge red flag because this girl straight up is externalizing her emotional trauma and issues that she needs to work through and putting that as your responsibility, which it isn't. You're supposed to be there for her. You're supposed to do your own inner work, but you're not supposed to be responsible for her traumas and triggers and catering to those traumas and triggers. So just keep that in mind. Last but not least, and it ties to the previous point really well, is if she always has a victim mentality and she has zero accountability. So oftentimes the way this shows up is when a girl talks about her past relationships, past dating experiences, if it's always about how guys are being shitty, how guys did XYZ, things didn't work because this guy did this, and things didn't work because that guy did this, and blah, blah, blah. And it's never about how she did things wrong or not optimally in a relationship, but it's always the other party's fault. This is a sign of someone that has zero accountability. In a relationship, in a healthy relationship, ideally you want to have it be built on honest, clear communication. The second thing is built on accountability and self-awareness, where people can see where they've fallen short or where they could have done things better. Now, if you have someone who completely has zero accountability and everything's always the other party's fault, this character trait is very hard to change. Now, it is possible to change, but if you're in a relationship and this girl's always talking about how it's never her fault, how always something happened to her, or it was some guy's fault, this is a red flag because you're not going to be any different. If you get in a relationship with this girl or you date her longer term, everything, for whatever reason, is going to be twisted into how it's your fault, even if it's not her fault. And in a relationship like that, it's basically emotionally immature and not equal. So if you see this trait, I would say run. Do not be one of those guys who will say and do anything and basically help her justify herself when she isn't justified just because you want to date her, get in her pants or anything. It's really, really, really not worth it. So what do you think? Did I cover all these red flags pretty well? Did I miss any? Do you guys have any crazy dating stories where you dated someone that exhibited some or all of these red flags and basically burned your life down for a little bit? If so, leave it down in the comments below. Would love to hear from you all, and I'll see you all soon.